They said I wasn't fit to be a mother, so why were they calling me now? I wake up every day at the same time, 6 in the morning. It doesn't matter how late I sleep or if I even sleep at all. My body just wakes me up. If you're listening to this, subscribe. And tell me where you're watching from. I don't know why, but something about this story, it feels like it's going to hit close to home for some of you. That used to be the time I got my daughters ready for school. Now, there's no one. I just sit there for a while on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall. Their drawings are still there. 2 small girls and me in the middle, holding their hands. I never took them down. I don't think I ever will. My phone started ringing. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Most calls don't bring anything good anymore. But something about this one made me pick up. Hello? Is this Amar and Lovu? Yes? I'm Dr. Kemi from Sunrise Children's Hospital. I'm calling about your daughter, Lila. For a second, I couldn't speak. It had been so long since anyone said that. Your daughter. I tightened my grip on the phone. What happened? I asked. There was a small pause. She was brought in early this morning. She's very weak. Her body isn't making enough blood to keep her stable. We may need a bone marrow donor urgently. I stood up so fast the chair behind me fell. What do you mean, not making blood? It's serious, she said. You should come. I'm coming, I said, right now. I didn't change, didn't think, I just left. The whole drive, my mind kept going back. To that day. The courtroom. Daniel standing there like he always does, calm, confident, lying like it was nothing. He said I was unstable, said I couldn't take care of my own children, and somehow they believed him. I tried to speak, tried to explain, but it felt like no one was really listening, and then it was over. Just like that. I lost them. I still remember how Lila cried that day, how Zuri held onto my clothes and refused to let go. She kept saying, "Mama, don't go." But they pulled her away. That moment, it never left me. I tried after that, I really did. Calls, messages, letters, every birthday, every Eid, I never missed one. But nothing reached them. Everything came back. Like I didn't exist anymore. By the time I reached the hospital, I don't even remember the drive. I parked badly, didn't even care, just ran inside. Hospitals always feel the same. Too quiet, too clean, like something heavy is sitting in the air. A nurse led me down a long hallway. Dr. Kemi was waiting. "You came quickly," she said. "Where is my daughter?" I asked. "She's inside," she said, "but she's been unwell for some time." I stopped. "For how long?" She didn't answer properly. And somehow that told me everything. I pushed the door open, and then I froze. For a second, I didn't recognize her. Lila looked so small. Her skin was pale, her arms so thin. There were marks on her skin, needles maybe. My chest tightened. I walked closer, slowly. She turned her head and looked at me. No smile, no excitement, just confusion. "Who are you?" she asked. That question, it broke something inside me. I tried to speak. "I'm someone who loves you." She kept looking at me, like she was trying to remember something far away. "Amara?" she said softly. Tears started falling before I could stop them. I shook my head. "No, look at me." There was a pause, a small one. Then she whispered, "Mama?" I covered my mouth as I cried, "Yes, it's me." I reached for her hand. She didn't pull away, but she didn't hold me either. That small distance, it hurt more than I expected, more than the 2 years. And then I heard footsteps. Slow, familiar. I froze. I didn't need to turn around. I already knew Daniel was here. He took my daughters away like I meant nothing, but now, standing in that hospital, he was about to face the one thing he thought he had erased, me. I didn't turn around when the door opened. I just knew it was him. You don't forget someone like Daniel, not after everything. "Still the same," he said behind me, "always making a scene." His voice, calm like nothing ever happened, like he didn't take my children away. I slowly let go of Lila's hand and turned. For a second, we just looked at each other. 2 years, and that's all there was. No apology, no guilt, just that same look he always had, like he was in control. "I didn't expect you to come this fast," he said. "I didn't expect you to let her get this sick," I replied. That hit something, just for a second. Then his face went back to normal. A nurse came in and asked him to step outside. He went without arguing. That felt strange. Daniel doesn't step back easily. I followed a few moments later. Not because of him, because something didn't feel right. Out in the hallway, 2 nurses were talking quietly. They stopped the moment they saw me. That silence, I've seen it before. It means something's being hidden. "Is everything okay?" I asked. One of them smiled quickly. "Yes, just routine." But her eyes said something else. I didn't push. Not yet. "Amy?" I turned so fast my heart skipped. "Zuri." She was standing a few steps away. For a second I couldn't move. She looked smaller, not just in size. Something about her felt smaller, quieter. "Zuri?" I said softly. I took a step forward. She didn't run to me, didn't smile. She just stood there. And then I noticed something. She looked past me, quickly, toward the hallway, toward where Daniel had gone. Then she looked down. That small movement, it stayed with me. I crouched down a little. "You've grown," I said. She nodded. Her fingers were playing with her sleeve, twisting it again and again. I remembered that habit, but before, it used to mean she was shy. Now, it felt different. "Are you okay?" I asked. She nodded again. Too fast, too automatic. Like she didn't even think about it. That scared me more than anything. A voice called my name. "Ms. Ndlovu, we need to begin testing." I stood up. "Testing?" "Right. That's why I was here. To see if I'm a match," I asked. "Yes," the doctor said. "We need to move quickly. I'm ready." They took us into a smaller room. Zuri sat quietly while they prepared everything. She didn't ask a single question, didn't complain, didn't even look scared. That wasn't normal. Children get scared. They ask things. Zuri just sat there, like she'd learned not to react. Daniel walked in while they were preparing. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, watching everything, not worried, not even pretending to be. "How long will this take?" he asked. "A few hours for initial results," the doctor said. He nodded, then looked at me. "Let's hope you're useful this time." I didn't respond, not because I had nothing to say, but because I wasn't going to give him that. When it was my turn, I sat down. The needle went in. I barely felt it. My mind was somewhere else, on Lila, on Zuri, on everything that didn't make sense. After that, we waited. Waiting is the worst part. You sit there with your thoughts, and they don't leave you alone. At some point, I couldn't sit anymore. I got up and walked toward Lila's room. Halfway there, I heard voices. Doctors. Low. Serious. "These results don't match." We might need to repeat. "Ooh, something's off." My chest tightened. I stepped closer. "Is there a problem?" I asked. They both looked at me. Too quickly. "No, it's nothing." One of them said, "Nothing. People only say that when it's not nothing." Later, the doctor came to me. Her face had changed. More serious now. "The initial results are in," she said. I stood up immediately. "And?" She hesitated. "You're not a match." That hurt, but I nodded. "Okay, what about Daniel?" "Not a match either." That made me pause. "And Zuri?" This time she didn't answer right away. That silence again, that same silence. "It's unusual," she said finally. My stomach tightened. "What does that mean?" She looked at me carefully. "The results don't align the way we expected." I frowned. "I don't understand." "We need more tests," she said quietly. "There's something here that doesn't make sense." Something didn't make sense. That sentence stayed in my head, over and over. Behind me, I heard Daniel's voice. "Problem?" he asked. I turned and looked at him. Really looked at him this time. And for the first time, I didn't just feel anger. I felt something else. Doubt. If none of us were a match and the results didn't make sense, then what truth had I been kept away from all these years? I couldn't stop thinking about what the doctor said. The results don't make sense. That sentence kept repeating in my head, over and over. Nothing about this felt normal. Not Lila's condition, not Zuri's behavior, not even Daniel. Especially not him. I found Dr. Kemi near the end of the hallway. "Please," I said, "don't tell me it's nothing. Just tell me the truth." She looked at me for a moment, like she was deciding how much I could handle. Then she sighed. "Let's sit." We moved into a small office. It was quiet. Too quiet. "I'm going to explain this as simply as I can," she said. I nodded. My hands were already cold. "When we test for a donor, we look for certain markers in the blood," she said. "They usually follow a pattern, especially between parents and children." "Okay," I said slowly. She paused. "Lila's markers don't fully match either of you." I frowned. "What does that mean? You said that already." "It means," she said carefully, "there's a possibility that we're missing something about her biological background." My chest tightened. "I am her mother. I'm not questioning that," she said quickly. "But sometimes there are rare situations where things are more complicated than they appear." Complicated? I didn't like that word. I stood up. "No, this doesn't make sense," I said. "I carried her. I gave birth to her." "I understand," she said calmly. "That's why we need to run more detailed tests." "Tests for what?" She hesitated again. That hesitation was starting to scare me more than the answers. "To understand her genetic profile better," she said. I walked out of that room more confused than before. Nothing was clear. Everything felt like pieces of a puzzle that didn't fit. I went back to Lila's room. She was sleeping. Machines around her making soft sounds. I stood there for a while, just watching her breathe. "I'm here," I whispered. "I'm not leaving this time." "Ami." I turned. Zuri was at the door again. She didn't come inside this time. Just stood there, watching. "Come here," I said gently. She shook her head, just slightly. Then she stepped back, like she wasn't allowed to come closer. That hit me hard. Later that evening, Dr. Kemi came to me again. "We may need to expand the donor search," she said. "What does that mean?" "It means we might need to consider someone outside immediate family." That didn't sit right. "Why?" I asked. She looked at me carefully. "Because sometimes the answer isn't where we expect it to be." That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in the waiting area staring at nothing, and then something came back to me. A memory. One I hadn't thought about in years. Before Daniel, there was someone else. His name was Kofi. It wasn't something I talked about, not because it was wrong, but because life moved on. Things changed, and I buried that part of my past. But now, sitting there in that hospital, hearing what the doctor said, that memory didn't feel random anymore. It felt important. I tried to push it away, told myself it didn't matter. But the thought stayed. What if? No, that didn't make sense, did it? The next morning, Dr. Kemi came with a file in her hand. Her expression was serious again, different from before. "We ran a deeper analysis overnight," she said. I stood up immediately. "And?" She looked at me, then said something that made my heart stop. "There's a strong indication that Lila's genetic markers don't fully align with Daniel's." Everything went silent. I felt like I didn't hear her properly. "What are you saying?" I asked. She didn't rush this time. "Amara, there's a possibility that Daniel may not be her biological father." I just stood there, trying to breathe, trying to understand, trying to go back in time and figure out where everything changed. Behind me, I heard footsteps. "Daniel." "Something wrong?" he asked. I turned slowly. This time, I didn't see him the same way. If Daniel wasn't her real father, then who was? And what else had been hidden from me all these years? I didn't say anything after the doctor told me. I couldn't. My mind just stopped. Daniel might not be Lila's father. That thought didn't just sit there, it spread into everything, into the past, into memories I had buried a long time ago. Coffee. I hadn't said his name in years, not out loud, not even to myself. But now, it was right there, loud, clear, impossible to ignore. I was still standing there when Daniel walked closer. "What did she say?" he asked. I looked at him, really looked this time. For years I thought I knew this man, thought I understood him. But now I wasn't sure about anything. "They said the results don't match," I said. He frowned slightly. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said slowly, "you're not a match." He let out a small breath. Like that part didn't surprise him. "And you?" he asked. "Neither am I." That got his attention. His posture changed, just a little. "That's not possible," he said. I held his gaze. "Yeah," I said quietly. "That's what I thought too." For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then he looked away, just briefly, but I noticed. And something about that didn't feel right. "You should talk to the doctor again," he said. "These things happen, mistakes." "Do they?" I asked. He didn't answer that. I watched him walk away, and for the first time, I felt like he wasn't as sure as he always pretended to be. Later, Doctor again. Kemi found me again. "We don't have much time," she said gently. "Lila's condition is getting worse." My chest tightened. "So what do we do?" "We expand the search," she said. "Extended family, relatives, anyone with a possible genetic link." I nodded slowly, but my mind was already somewhere else. "Doctor," I said, hesitating. She looked at me. "If there was someone else," I continued, "from before, would it matter?" Her expression changed slightly. "Yes," she said, "it could matter a lot." That was it. That was the moment. The one I had been avoiding. That night, I sat alone with my phone in my hand, staring at the screen. I didn't even know if the number would still work. Didn't know where he was. Didn't know if he'd answer. After all these years, why would he? But then I thought about Lila. Her face. Her voice when she said, "Mama." The way she didn't hold my hand back. I couldn't sit there and do nothing. I couldn't lose her too, not again. My fingers moved before I could stop them. I searched his name. Kofi. It felt strange even typing it, like opening a door I had locked a long time ago. There wasn't much. A few old contacts. One number. I stared at it for a long time. Then I pressed call. It rang. Once, twice, 3 times. I almost hung up. Then, "Hello." My heart stopped. I hadn't heard that voice in years, but I knew it instantly. I couldn't speak at first. Everything I wanted to say just disappeared. "Hello?" he said again. "Oh, coffee," I finally managed. There was a pause, a long one. Then, "Amara?" The way he said my name, nothing had changed. And somehow, everything had. "I know this is sudden," I said quickly, "and I wouldn't call if it wasn't important." "What's wrong?" he asked, straight to the point. That was always him. "It's my daughter," I said, my voice almost broke. "She's very sick." There was silence on the other end. Then, softer. "What do you need?" I closed my eyes. This was it. No turning back now. "I need you to come to the hospital," I said. "There are some tests, they think." I couldn't finish the sentence. But he understood. I could feel it in the silence. "I'll come," he said. "No questions, no hesitation, just that." After the call ended, I sat there for a long time, staring at nothing. My heart was racing, not just from fear, but from everything that was about to come. Because if Kofi was a match, then it would confirm something I wasn't ready to face, and if he wasn't, then I was running out of time. The man from my past was on his way, but if he turned out to be Lila's only hope, then the truth I had buried for years was about to come back and change everything. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound made me look up. Every footstep in the hallway made my heart race. I kept thinking, what if he doesn't come? What if I'm wrong? What if it's already too late? Morning came slowly, too slowly. I was sitting outside Lila's room when I saw him. For a second, I wasn't sure it was real. Kofi, standing at the end of the hallway, he looked older. Of course he did. So did I. But something about him hadn't changed. The way he stood, the way he looked straight at me, like he always used to. Neither of us moved at first. Then he started walking toward me, slow, careful, like he didn't want to break the moment. "Amara," he said, "just my name, nothing else." And somehow that was enough. "Thank you for coming," I said. My voice wasn't as steady as I wanted it to be. "You said it was important," he replied. "It is." I didn't know how to explain everything, so I didn't. "I'll tell you everything," I said, "but first I need you to do something." He nodded. "Okay." They took him in for testing almost immediately. Everything started moving fast after that, faster than I was ready for. While we waited, Daniel showed up. Of course he did. His eyes went straight to Kofi, then to me. And just like that, he understood. "You called him?" he asked. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. "That's not necessary," he said quickly. "We already discussed." "No," I cut him off. For the first time, I didn't hesitate. "For once, we're not doing things your way." He stared at me, like he didn't recognize me. Good, because I wasn't the same person anymore. Hours passed. Every second felt heavier than the last, until finally the doctor came out. I stood up immediately. "What happened?" I asked. Dr. Kemi looked at me, then at Kofi, then back at me. Her expression said everything before she even spoke. "He's a match." Everything went quiet. I felt my knees weaken. A match. That meant I looked at Kofi. He didn't say anything, but I could see it in his eyes. He understood too. Behind me, I heard Daniel's voice. "That doesn't prove anything," he said quickly. "These tests can be wrong." Dr. Kemi shook her head. "We ran multiple confirmations." Daniel's face changed. For the first time, he looked unsure. I turned to him slowly. "All these years," I said, "you made me believe I was the problem." He didn't respond. "You took my children away," I continued. "You made me feel like I wasn't enough." Still nothing. "But the truth," I said, my voice steady now, "was never what you said it was." He looked at me, but he had nothing left to say. And that silence, that was everything. Later, I went back into Lila's room. She was awake. Zuri was sitting beside her, quiet like always. I walked in slowly. This time, Zuri didn't step back. She didn't look at the door. She just looked at me. "Ami," she said softly. I sat down beside them. "I'm here," I said. And this time, I meant it in a way I hadn't been able to before. I reached for Lila's hand again. And this time, she held mine back. That small moment, it healed something inside me. There was still a long road ahead. Treatment, recovery, everything. But for the first time, I felt like I wasn't fighting alone. Because the truth was finally out. And no one could take that away from me again. After the transplant was confirmed, things didn't stay quiet for long. Hospitals don't ignore things like that. Reports were made, tests were documented, questions started being asked. And this time, the truth didn't stay buried. It didn't take long before everything came out. The mismatched reports. The delay in Lila's treatment, the things Daniel never explained. For years, I thought I lost because I wasn't strong enough. But it turns out, I was never the problem. The court reopened the case. This time, I wasn't standing there alone. There were doctors, records, proof. Real proof. Daniel tried to speak the same way he used to, calm, controlled. But it didn't work anymore, because now people were actually listening. And just like that, everything changed. Custody was given back to me, not temporarily, not halfway, fully. I didn't react the way I thought I would. No shouting. No tears in that moment, just silence. Because after everything, peace feels quiet. Daniel didn't fight after that, or maybe he just knew he couldn't. He stood there, but there was nothing left for him to say. But the real moment? It wasn't in the courtroom. It was later, when we came home, all of us, together. Zuri didn't stand near the door anymore. She sat next to me, close, like she used to. And Lila, she reached for my hand again, and held it, tight this time. That's when it really hit me. Not in court, not in the hospital, but right there. I didn't just get my daughters back, I got my life back. And this time, no one was taking it away from me again. They tried to break me, they tried to erase me, but no matter what they did, I stood. If you felt this story, even a little, make sure you subscribe. Because there are so many more stories like this, stories of women who were broken but still stood anyway.